Hi, my name is Mazzy Mayhem, and I am setting a goal to raise £500 in support of survivors of sexual assault, specifically childhood survivors. I've wanted to shave my head for a long time now, but instead of doing it randomly, I've decided to do it for a cause that is bigger than myself. Recently, seeing a lot of stories about powerful people getting away with horrific abuse has left me and a lot of other people feeling helpless and powerless, like the system just doesn't protect the people that it should. And whenever I feel helpless and powerless, I think it's always important to take action and do something about it, even a small action. I can't single handedly change the system, nor can I guarantee every child in the world's safety, as much as I wish I could. But I can do something, and this is my something. I'm raising money for She UK, a registered charity that creates safe spaces and offers community and specialized support for survivors of sexual assault. This ranges from group activities to specialized therapies. This cause is also deeply personal to me. I've lived through the experiences that have left me feeling alone and like I don't have anyone to talk to and that I have nobody who understands me. And it's left me feeling very misunderstood in the world, and I've never felt safe enough to reach out for support or help. And I never want anybody to ever feel that alone. So my goal is £500 by the end of April, and once we hit that goal, I will be shaving all this hair off. So if you want to stick around to see that, please do. I'll link the donation in all of my social media at Mazzy_mayhem. Even the smallest amount will help, so please donate or at least share or just support. I appreciate you. Thank you. Hello, I'm Mazzy Mayhem and welcome to Pretty and Dangerous. This is my little corner of the internet for misfit girls, gays, theys, and everybody in between who love to gossip about fictional characters, rant about society, and have a love-hate relationship with romance, or maybe just love to hate in general. To be honest, I don't really feel like I had like a typical childhood. I feel like I missed out on a lot of childhood, girlhood slash teenage experiences, and I'm making up for that now. Maybe some of you can relate, or maybe you just want to relive your own childhood. Either way, this is a place where we can do whatever we want. So get a blanket, get cozy, and let's dive into the gossip. So yesterday was Valentine's Day. So I'd like to say to everybody who has a boo thing, everybody who celebrated Valentine's Day, everybody got all the things that um I wanted, like flowers, chocolate, jewelry, handwritten cards, all those lovely romantic things. Give it to me. Don't really know what happened there. Um yeah, I hope you had a nice time if you got all those things and you're in a lovely romantic relationship. Like, I hope that's serving you well, I guess. Totally not jealous or anything. And if your man isn't getting you nice things, he's not buying you flowers, he's not getting you jewelry, he's not writing you letters, he's not being cute, leave him. Don't be that ass. Get rid of him. Clearly he's a waste of time and a waste of space. And bitch, you best start buying your girlfriend flowers, otherwise I will. And I will steal your girl. Because I'm Mr. Steal Your Girl. Get into it. Yeah, if you have a man, if you're in a relationship with a man and he didn't buy you flowers or anything, let me know in the comments below. I'll send you some flowers. Emojis. Anyways, yeah, just needed to get that out of the way. It was Valentine's Day yesterday, you know. I'm in two minds about Valentine's Day. Half of me is like, get this like fake, disgusting, capitalistic, money hoarding, fake holiday out my face. Okay? These companies have invented this holiday to make you spend money and capitalize off of romance and love. It's not real. And then the other half of me is like, who cares? Who cares? I want some flowers. I want some chocolate. I I would like some jewelry. I'd like to be taken out for a nice meal. I don't give a fuck, okay? If it's just like a money grabbing thing. Everything's a money grabbing thing, okay? We may as well have some enjoyment and some fun, you know? So basically, what I'm trying to say is like, there's like two wolves inside of me fighting, and they're really going at it right now. And I'm not entirely sure who's winning, but I guess we'll find out when one of them decides to bond, and I'll let you know which one it is. For now, they're both trying to be alphas. Yeah. Anyway, I think we should get into the topic now before I start talking about things that we don't need to be talking about. Okay, so in honor of it having been Valentine's Day, I thought it would be fun to watch a rom com that I've never watched before. Um, and I decided to watch 10 Things I Hate About You because honestly, the title just sounds like I'd enjoy it, to be honest. Like 10 Things I Hate About You sounds like my kind of romantic comedy. Um, and I just thought that it would be fun to watch one that I'd never watched before. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't really have much success when it comes to romantic comedies. I don't usually end up liking them. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm very hopeful, or I was very hopeful about 10 Things I Hate About You. Um, and hopefully I can actually relate to the girl in this one, but I guess we'll see. Um, it's giving enemies to lovers, but like real life instead of fantasy, which is what I'm used to. And to be honest, I'm gonna probably prefer fantasy because at least in fantasy they can like try and kill each other. And like in fantasy, enemies to lovers, the girl tries to kill the man, and that is what gets me going. I do enjoy that. You know, because if a man can still love you after you've tried to kill him, you know you're acting for real. Acting tight like a booty hole, you know? But yeah. So it's it's the title is giving enemies to lovers is what I'm trying to say, but real life, reality, enemies to lovers, like this is what a real life enemies to lovers would be like, rather than the fantasy ones that I'm used to reading about. This feels like the exact kind of movie that I missed out on growing up. I feel like if I'd watched this when I was 15, I would have eaten it up. Like it would have definitely been one of my comfort movies, is what I feel like. So there's always time for that, you know? We can discover new things all the time throughout our lives. Although for some reason, if I didn't like it when I was like 13, it just doesn't really feel that meaningful now. I don't know what it is, but I have to get over that mindset. I don't know what's wrong with that, but I have to get over that. By the title alone of this movie, I feel like I would have built it into my personality if I'd watched it younger. So let's get into my commentary of this movie. Let's get into the juicy things. Enough talk now. Let's fight. But that's just me guessing about it. Like these were my thoughts before watching the movie. So yeah. And then we'll get into my thoughts as I'm watching the movie. Most of the rom-coms I've watched so far, like the ones that I've tried to catch up on, I haven't really liked. I said that earlier and I'm gonna say it again because it's true. I just find them disappointing. Like, to me, I feel like romantic comedy is a genre for women, so it should be built with like they should be not built. They should be made with women in mind. So when they're made, and I'm like, this is catering so completely to the male gaze, it really pisses me off because I'm like, men aren't watching this. Men don't watch these. So why am I watching something that is catering towards the male gaze? Like, it's actually really annoying. Can we stop? Can we stop? Can we write some romances? Not romances. Can we write some rom-coms and romance movies catered towards women and what women want, please? Thank you. And eventually, it's gonna get to the point where I stop begging and I like stop pushing people out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, stop. And I know Hollywood is run by some fat, ugly white men. Stop making these movies, bitch. Cut that out. Usually, I don't like how the girls written in rom coms. I feel like they often write the main character like a pick me, and it's just like that's not the message in 2025, 2026. Like, that's not what women want anymore. So hurry up, get with the times, change the change the structure, change whatever you need to change, and start pumping out some good movies for women now. Thanks. And like I like other obviously I like other genres and movies, but I want some rom-coms, okay? Because romance in real life is dead. Like, it doesn't exist. So can we at least have it in the movies, please? Like, it's not that hard. Anyway, and I just really hope I like this one. Like, I desperately want to like a rom-com. Like, I desperately want it to be a romance movie that I can relate to because it has not happened so far. It has not happened. Okay? Um maybe it's because, like, maybe I really want to like one because I'm trying to convince myself that I do still believe in love. Like, maybe I want to be like, there's hope out there for me. But then the other part of me is like, I can see past it all. Like, I can see past all the romance into the patriarchy behind the curtains. Like, I can see it. I'm not sure there's ever going to be a way where you convince me that romance like that exists without it being some sort of sham or scams to convince women to get married and have kids. I don't think so. I don't know if you can do that. My first impressions were, because when I watched this movie, I actually had no idea what it was about. I had no idea about the plot. I'd never seen it before. I'd never seen anything about it before. I've just like briefly seen it in passing, like on Disney Plus or something, or I've briefly heard people talking about it on like TikTok and stuff, but never watched it and don't really know anything about it. So I went into this blind pretty much. Later, like after I watched it, my mom told me that it's sort of like a modern depiction of the Shakespeare play, The Taming of the Shrew, which I've never read and I have heard of it, but when I heard that, I was like, okay, misogyny. The Taming of the Shrew? I'm sure they call her a shrew in the movie. I'm sure they do. Doesn't make sense. And they also reference Shakespeare in the movie, so maybe it actually is like a modern retelling of The Taming of the Shrew. I don't know, but The Taming of the Shrew sounds crazy. What do you am I a shrew? I don't mind. Shrews can be cute. Actually, let me Google what shrew is. What's a shrew? Oh my god, they're actually so cute. Aww. Yeah, I don't mind being a shrew, bitch. I'll be a shrew. A tiny shrew-like insectivorous mammal belong to the family of Saurasidae. I don't care. Often mistaken for a mouse, but closely related to moles. And moles are cute too. So, I really don't care. Then what's a shrew woman? Let's Google that. An unpleasant, ill-tempered woman characterized by scolding, nagging, and aggression. Me then. Okay. You're crazy. I am sure. I don't mind. You can't say me though. Anyway, but yeah, so I went into this movie completely blind. And my first thought was literally, I was like, lol, not the guy that's cancer writing smut in basically the first scene. Like, I love the counselor. What's her name? Miss Perky. I see you, Miss Perky. she's she's literally sat down on her computer in between council sessions, like, and his member. She pulled out his member and like he stroked her skin and whatever the fuck they type in smut scenes, you know? I don't know that. He unsheathed his member. Okay. Whatever that means. But I see you, Miss Berkey. Like, that is a woman who cannot be anymore. Like, she cannot be fought. She does not give a shit about school. She doesn't give a shit about the students. She just wants to write her novel and live in her fantasy delusions. Like, she does not care. And like, middle-aged women need to get into that. Okay, it sounds fun. If like, when men are like, oh, you're gonna end up alone and a cat lady and a lonely cat woman, like she's having the time of her life. She is living it up. Um, and then like she's talking to that kid, whatever his name is, I think it's Cameron. She's like, yeah, get out now. Okay, scram. I need to finish up my smut. I need to finish writing my novel, babe. I need to finish writing this work of literature. Yeah. And then that other kid, and then the main guy. I was gonna say that other kid. The main guy walks in, Mr. Patrick Verona. What a name! What a name! It sounds like a foot fungus. Patrick Verona. Guys, can you take a look at my Patrick Verona? Can you just take a look at the Verona on the bottom of my foot, please? What a name. Anyway, what's the word that he says? Like he literally says something. Hang on, bratwurst. What the fuck is that? What does that mean? Let's Google that. Because not how like Patrick Verona does something, and apparently he calls it a bratwurst, and then she kicks him out of the office, and then she starts typing her book out again, and she literally uses the word bratwurst in her smut. So let's find out what bratwurst means. A type of German pork sausage that is typically fried or grilled. A German sausage, or a derogatory term usually with reference to the pink penis. Get your bratwurst out of my can, silly. Anyway, that's hilarious. Um, yeah, she uses that word. And can I say, if I was in an American school, I definitely would have been a cough kid. Like, if I went to this school, I would have been one of the cough kids. On the brink or something. They're on the brink. Don't say too much and don't look at them too hard because they'll one word away from suicide. Yeah, that's me. Also, what is it with American schools and cliques? Like, American schools seem to be obsessed with like different cliques. Like over there, you have the jockeys, and then you have the popular kids, and then you have the it girls, and the cheerleaders, and the chads, and the footballers, and you have the geeks and the nerds, and the theater kids. Like, what is America's obsession with that? I'm genuinely wondering because, like, I get having like groups of people, like groups of friends, but what is it with separating people into like this is the club that we're in, and you have to be exactly like us, otherwise you're not part of the club. And if you don't have a club, then it's social death, is what it feels like. How is the coffee kids a clique? Like, do you mean the mentally old, the emos? That's what they were. Like, crazy. Maybe it's a Western thing. I don't know because I didn't really go to school in the UK either. I went to school in the UK for a bit, and I didn't really feel like it was separated by like cliques. I felt like it was just separate based on friend groups, but maybe I'm just unaware of these things. I don't know. I wasn't part of anything. I didn't really have many friends though, so yeah, I just like, to me it feels like a social experiment. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about that there's, if you're not part of a clique, or if you don't have a clique, or what clique are you in? It just feels strange, like what's going on? Anyway, moving on. That boy that keeps arguing with Kat in the class, and he keeps going like every time she says something like nee, 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 nee. Shut up, loser. Like, it's giving bum. Like, shut face. Somebody slap him, please. Like, it's just giving fragile masculinity. Like, what is wrong with you, dude? And then later on, when he's outside with his friends and he's talking about virgin alert with his friends, forget bitch slap. Where's my blicky? Yeah? Where's my piece? I put 3 holes in your forehead. Ooh, really pissed me off. Really, really pissed me off. And then, like, to me, it was like, this is where misogyny started. This is where, like, at this point of the movie, I was like, I'm gonna hate this movie. I'm actually gonna hate it because why is there so much misogyny? Like, it's gonna be one of those movies. Great. Can it? I know it's 2000s, but like, do we have to? Hate it. Hate it. Because then literally in the next 5 minutes there's 2 guys talking about Bianca, and it's just really pissing me off because why is one of them sexualizing her because she's pure, and then the other one demonizing her because he can't have her? Two sides of misogyny, guys. Like, literally, that is exactly where misogyny stems from, is men sexualizing purity and demonizing women they can't have. Clock it. It's crazy. And then they talk about women that they can't have because a, if a woman chooses not to want to be with a man, or she chooses to dislike men because of that very reason, they then talk about her as if she's not even human. Because both those guys are talking about Kat, uh sorry, talking about Bianca. Like, one of them, she's so hot because she's so pure, and then the one's like, don't even try it, man. Like, she does everything so calculated just so you want her but can't have her. She's just a piece of work. But then we'll talk about Kat, who isn't doing what he says Bianca's doing, and she doesn't want a man. Like, she's not even human. Crazy. Like, it's what makes me want to do violent things to men. Like, it really does. Like, it makes me want to get really violent. Anyway, after that scene, I was like, I hope Cameron's friend dies. Like, I really do. I hope he dies. I don't even know his name at all. Like, I don't even know his name in the movie. But I'm like, men are so unbelievably shit because they can't get the girl. Okay. And nobody wants them, and then they start acting like a piece of crap. I hope he dies. In the next scene, he swerves away from a car, flies off the hill. He nearly dies. So funny. Literally, not a moment later. not, not him nearly dying a second later. Just to swerve out of the way of somebody's car, and he ends up flying off a hill. Gagged. Honestly, after, like, at first I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this movie because it just seems to be jam packed full of misogyny, and I don't know if I can take that. When that happened, instant karma. I was like, actually, maybe I am gonna like this movie. We'll give it a chance. We'll give it a chance. But then, not them like having to hatch up some kind of plan so Cameron can go out with Bianca. Like, are men okay in the head? I don't even answer that. They're not. They're not okay. Like, I remember a man telling me once that men will literally go to war for pussy, um, and that men will do anything to get some. And I'm like, except for be nice people, except for being good. Like, men will do anything to get some, including like hurting people and just being assholes and douchebags. But they will never be good people to get some. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, they have to hatch up this whole plan. So they have to. So the rule is the two sisters, Bianca and Kat, they can't date until after high school. And then the dad ended up changing the rules that Bianca can't date unless Kat dates because he knows Kat is never gonna date anybody because she hates men. Girl after my own heart. Anyway, um, so that's the new rule. So when Cameron finds that out, he's like, well, simple. We'll just find a guy who's crazy enough to date Kat. Which I'm like, the way they talk about it is like they talk about it as if Kat doesn't have any kind of like decision in this. Like, you might find a guy who is willing to date Kat on the corner of the street, but is Kat willing to date him? Maybe not. Like, they don't know. Like, they don't even consider that Kat's not gonna date anybody, which kind of irritates me and bothers me. Um, but yeah, they do this whole thing just so Cameron can date Bianca. It's like a bit strange. And at this moment in the movie, Bianca don't even want him. Like, they're going to these lengths to like scheme and plot and all these shenanigans and whatnot. And Bianca doesn't even want him. She wants some next guy. And the guy she actually wants at this moment in the movie I could kill. And so they end up finding Patrick, who's supposed to be this like nonchalant bad boy who's been to prison, and they're like, yeah, that's our guy. He's totally wacko enough to date wacko Cat. So they try and like set him up to date Cat. But I'm like, literally, what makes them think Cat would date Patrick? And even if Cat does date Patrick, they think that their plan won't blow up in their faces once she finds out that somebody paid him off to date her. Crazy. Like, actually crazy. And then, you know what's funny? That guy, that misogynistic guy at the start, um, who was talking about like virgin alert. So weird. He's the one they go to pay him off. Like, like they literally go up to him and they're like, well, you're gonna have to pay somebody to date her sister because you can't date her without her sister dating. And he's like, okay, sure. Men are so strange. All, all to get some raw. And these people lead the world. It seems a bit wrong, doesn't it? It just don't really seem right. Like, a man can justify doing that just because he thinks he deserves some, like spending his money not even on the girl that he wants to date, on another man to get him to date another girl so he can date the girl that he wants. And these people run the world. I'm not surprised that we are where we are. I'm not surprised. And then men want to tell me, like, anytime I say anything about this kind of stuff and how much I hate men and all that, and then we're like, men built society. You wouldn't be anywhere without men. Society sucks, bro. I hate society. Burn it all down. That's what I think. Burn it all to the ground, bitch. Like, as far as I'm concerned, society sucks. Okay, and all the like major pieces that I think that we would need, like that are actual cornerstones of community and society, I think women would do fine building without men. Like, and when men say this to me personally, it just sounds like your brain is so small that you can't imagine a society without all of these things, which is why to me a lot of the time it seems like men are getting in the way of having the world that we actually truly want. So how's that for some feminist propaganda? Don't get me talking. Don't let me start. If Kat was to find out that somebody had paid somebody to date her, she'd probably kill him. I mean, I know I would. Like, imagine you hate everybody. You cannot stand any man, and then this man shows up, and he's literally charming. He's cute. He's whatever. He's doing his thing, and you end up falling in love with him, and you admit your feelings to him, and then you find out that he only started dating you because somebody paid him money. Oh, the shame. You have to die. You have to die now. There's no way somebody can walk around with that kind of information, that kind of intelligence on them. Like, no, it's on site ho, and you're dying now. Um, to be honest, I can totally like. Actually, I can't totally anything. I hate with a capital H, hate, hate, hate movie fathers. What is wrong with people? Like, I don't know if it's a I don't know what the issue is, but why are dads in movies so crap? Like, why are they so shit? Like, for want of a better word, like, get out my face. Get out my face. It's one thing for a parent to be like protective of their kids and not want bad things to happen to them, and like, and I can understand parents not wanting their kids to date until after high school. To me, that's a reasonable thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I can totally understand it, but when there's a like a fixation on like pregnancy and like your daughter's having schmecks and whatnot, it becomes exceedingly weird to me. Like, it's giving, like, it just makes my skin crawl, honestly. He's given perverted uncle instead of loving father, and it's just a bit strange. Like, why? And then the comment about like later on in the movie when he's talking to Kat about like dads are scared when their daughters can finally take control of their own lives because it means that the dad has to step back and become a spectator. It's just a bit weird. Like, why do dads do this with daughters and not with sons? Like, it's just, what is really going on here? And if it's because dads think about it, is if it's because the father knows how he thinks about women, and the way that he thinks about women is incredibly misogynistic and awful, and that's how he thinks all men think about women, and so he's trying to protect his daughter from that, then you need to correct men's behavior, not women's behavior. Like, you can't just control your daughter because men are crap and men are shit. Men need to change. Like, it just really gets on my nerves. um And with that being said, I think, and then that brings me to a conversation about red pill men, because I honestly think red pill men would seriously enjoy romance movies, like rom-com movies, because it basically addresses a lot of the things these men think about women. Like, these movies address, especially this movie. First of all, it addresses the way that men operate, like misogynistically. Like, a lot of the men in this movie are red pill men, in reality. So that tells you that red pill has been around for a lot longer than it was called red pill. Um, And because, like, honestly, the ideology that a lot of these red pill men go by is like, it is literally in this movie. Like, the way a lot of these men view women is how a lot of the men view Bianca in the movie. Like, on one hand, some of the guys think she's pure and they sexualize her for that. And then the other hand is the guys who used to sexualize her for being pure, and then she didn't pick them and didn't choose their nice guy act, then become bitter and start to hate her, because then they think that everything she does, like her pureness that they sexualized her for before, then becomes, oh, it's calculated and she's trying to lure men into her trap and she's doing all this nonsense and blah 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 blah. But in reality, it's that Joey guy paying some other guy to date Bianca's sister so he can date her. Crazy. Actually crazy. And then you want to blame women for shit. Get out my face. Actually, get out my face. And then the next thing I want to address is the sister on sister rivalry that seems to be going on. And the internalized misogyny with that. Like, it just annoys me, because it annoys me when I see two women like pitted against each other or like fighting, especially when it's over a man or something stupid. Because me and my sisters we would never fight over a man ever, or even hate each other for any reason because of anything to do with a man, like, ever. They just would never happen. And I wish that all women could find some kind of sisterhood with another woman where they don't this doesn't, like, ugh, it really annoys me. Like, because what's going on, like, it just kind of ruins it for me that they don't get along at first. Like, Bianca just keeps throwing Kat under the bus, and then, like, she just seems to hate Kat for some reason. And it just seems like she hates her sister because she wants some dick. Like, it comes across as really pick me, and like, she comes across as the type of pick me that's kind of dangerous. And I just, like, my sisters would never, and I would never to them ever. And that's the end of that, to be honest. Moving on for that, one scene that I really found funny was the scene where Kat pulls up into a shop somewhere and Patrick is there and, like, tries to talk to her about some stuff, and she basically shoves him off her car, gets in the car, and then Joey pulls up behind her and parks his car behind her, or leaves his car behind her car. And she's like, "Hey, do you mind?" And he's like, "Nope, I don't mind at all." And then in my head, as I'm watching that scene, I'm like, "Please, please reverse into his car. Please, please, please reverse into the back of his car. Like, I'm begging you." Do you know what they do in the movie? She reverses back into his car. This movie was made for me. Okay? It is a bit me, like, she smashes into the back of his car with her car. Funniest thing ever. I did really like that. Like, yes. And then also another hilarious scene, Cat busting Patrick out of detention by flashing somebody. Hilarious. Like, I wish I didn't have shame like that. Like, I wish shame wasn't, like, put into me from such an early age and I didn't give a flying hoot about things like that. I'm trying to unlearn it all in, like, therapy and stuff to work through. Because on the surface it's very easy to be like, fuck men and fuck the patriarchy and all of that, but then when you have grown up in a very deeply patriarchal society and culture, um especially like a religious one, and from so young, like, it wasn't even just passive programming into my head, it was extremely active programming of the patriarchy. And, like, I feel like the shame is very deep rooted. um but with a lot of the work that I've done with, like, decentering men and stuff, I feel like it's going away, but at the same time I struggle with even being perceived as a woman by men. Like, so for me, when I saw that scene, I was like, I wish I could do things like that. Like, I wish I didn't give a fuck like that. I wish like a man perceiving me in that kind of way didn't bother me because I just didn't care. I wish. For me, it comes like a lot of it comes from I just don't want men to see me at all. But no matter what I do, it's some man's fantasy and some man's dream, and he's gonna be thinking about me like that if he sees me. So it's like, unfortunately, that is the case. But um, I think the important part as a woman is acknowledging it and then trying to work through whatever. Usually, it's shame based because that's how the patriarchy gets you. But it's trying to work through that shame, I guess, and trying to unlearn it and like get to the deep root core of what that shame is. I think for me, the longest time I was just ashamed of being a woman, to be honest, which is really sad. But um, I didn't really have any choice or say over that when I was a child, and now that I do, we're unlearning it. But yeah, another scene that I absolutely loved and that I felt like was just perfect, like chef's kiss in this movie was, first of all, thank Bianca realizes how much of a piece of shit Joey is, and she like is like, because he's so self-centered, like at that party, and then at prom when he's getting ready for prom, this man is in love with himself, like constantly talking about himself, doesn't give a crap about anybody else. Like, are you alright? Like, he's looking at himself in the mirror, like, I wouldn't be surprised if you like happen to see him through his bedroom window. He'd be making out with himself in the mirror. I wouldn't be surprised. He seems like that kind of guy. Like, he seems like the kind of guy to try and practice kissing his own reflection. Are you serious? Like, this is a really self-obsessed guy, and I'm so glad Bianca starts to see that by the end of it. But my favorite scene, like one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie, is when she punches him in the face. Not once, but twice, and then she knees him. So it like splits his nose. Bianca, not my nose. I have a shoot tomorrow. Shut up, bitch. This movie knows how to get into my heart. Like it does. This movie knows what I want. And that's why I like that. And then, oh my god, another funny scene is when Bianca's going to prom and Cameron comes to pick her up, and he like the dad speaks to Cameron and sees Bianca leave and whatever. And then a while later, Joey turns up at the door and he comes to pick Bianca up, not knowing that she's already left. So he knocks on the door, the dad opens it, and then he's like, I'm Joey, I've come to pick up Bianca. The dad shuts the door in his face. I know that's right. I know that's right. That made me chuckle a little bit. That did make me giggle. Like, the men get exactly what they deserve in this movie, which is why I kind of like it. Like, this movie's good. But yeah. And then, these aren't quite in order, by the way, because I was just writing my thoughts down. So, the scene where Kat gets up on the table and just starts dancing really drunk in front of everybody, that was kind of funny. And then another scene that, it was kind of cringe, but it was kind of cute because, like, it was Patrick trying to make up for the fact that Kat had embarrassed herself at the party, so then he sang to him in front of the whole school. Like, that was kind of sweet. Like, that was kind of sweet. Like, I was like, okay. I think that's what the first, like, that scene was the first time I was like, okay, Patrick is actually kind of getting to me. Like, before that, I was like, I like the movie, but I'm not really sure about the actual romance part of it. And then after that, I was like, okay, I can get why this guy's kind of charming. I can get it sort of, okay. F like F. Because not many guys will embarrass themselves like that. Yeah. Anyway, her Kat's poem, the 10 Things I Hate About You poem, it was actually really good. Um, and the fact that like they she finds out about the fact that he was paid money to basically get with her, and they basically have a little fight, and then she leaves, and it's kind of like they're not going to speak to each other again. But then she sings that poem about the fact that she hates everything about him, but she hates the fact that she doesn't hate him more than anything in the world. And then she's like, "Bitch, why don't you call me?" And then she cries. Oh, girl. No. Like, in the movie, it's cute, but in reality, I'm thinking, girl, how can you let somebody see you lacking like that? How can you let somebody see that you give a fuck? You don't tell anybody that you like them. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking. It's just like letting somebody know that you're that upset, or letting somebody see you cry, especially, it just feels really risky to me. Like, it just feels like the second you let somebody in like that, they might turn around and use it against you, and you've got nobody to blame but yourself because you got caught lacking. I think I definitely need to do some work in therapy. Jesus Christ. Anyway, and then he bought her a guitar, the very guitar that she really wanted. It's so cute. It makes me sick. It makes me ill. Stop it. Sometimes it's like the effort that he goes to put things right. Like, yeah, he fucks up. Yeah, he makes mistakes. But then the way he puts it right, so you can't help but like him. I'd be so annoyed. Like, I think I've never had a, I've never, I don't, can I speak? Am I allowed to speak? I don't think I've ever been in love like that before, because I don't think romance like this is real. Like, I don't think guys do this kind of stuff. So, but if a guy ever did this kind of stuff, I think I'd punch him in the face. because, because what are you doing? What are you trying to do? Huh? Anyway, it does kind of make me wish that romance was like this was real. I think the little girl inside of me wants to believe it's real, and then I'm like, but girl, we know better. Like, we know better. And you're not gonna catch me out. That's not gonna happen. Okay, so overall, I just think the movie was actually really funny. It was really funny. It was really sweet. I think Kat has been one of the most relatable characters to me in a while. Like, I really see myself in her. Um to be honest, this has been the first like romantic comedy movie I've ever watched where I really liked. I've watched rom-com anime before and I've really enjoyed them, but this is the first live action rom-com movie that I've enjoyed, to be honest. Like, which is a change. Like, it that's nice. I did think I was gonna like it based on the title, and it delivered. So I'm happy about that. Like, actually, scratch that. I think this might be my favorite rom com ever because I do really like the girl. Anime not included. Because I pretty much enjoyed it start to finish. And of course, I hate all men all the time, and that's never going to change. Like, I hate them a little bit. It's not like up to the max all the time, but I hate every single one of them just a little bit. And then there's varying degrees of how much I hate them inside of that, you know? And I just think that's something that everybody should get used to, like, immediately. And I'm definitely adding this to my list of comfort movies. However, there were parts of the movie that were misogynistic that made me uncomfortable. But I do think they did it in a way where it's not just them making characters misogynistic just for the sake of misogyny, but rather highlighting how men actually are, or how misogynistic men actually are. And I think this movie actually has a decent message behind it. Like, um, the misogynistic main guy, the main misogynistic guy doesn't get any play in the end. Well, he does actually. Um, they don't. Obviously, they don't take it as far as I would take it. But I don't think they just make these guys misogynistic. I think they're just highlighting how men actually are. Like, it would be unrealistic if the guys, not even just unrealistic, like, it just wouldn't really make sense if they made all the guys like good guys, because men are not. Like, I think that would be selling women a false narrative, to be honest. Um, but I do like the way that the women kind of get their lick back, especially they get their lick back in a funny way. Kat definitely does. She makes sure she does. I would make sure I do if a man was ever like that anywhere near me. Like, I'd bully him actually. Like, straight up. Anyway, and that's good. That's a good thing. However, I feel like the kind of misogyny that is in this movie just represents the misogyny that is in American high schools, maybe. Um, that being said, it doesn't really go into like misogynoir or misogyny against queer women or trans women or any of that, which is telling by the time that it was like the context of the time that it was made, the movie was made. But I do have one big, massive gripe with this movie, and that is the fact that there is no women of color in this movie apart from that one girl who was Bianca's friend, and they turn her into a huge pick me at the end of the movie for no reason. Like, to me, that just feels like racism. Like, you're not going to put any representation in the movie, and then you're going to just turn the only woman of color in the movie, the only black woman in the movie, into a pick me at the end for no reason. Like, it doesn't do anything for the plot, it doesn't do anything for the movie. um I just, like, to me that deducted huge points off the movie. Like, why did you do that? Why, like, why would you do that? I'm probably, if I ever watch the movie again, I'm probably just gonna skip the end. Cause I just don't want to see it because it just seems so unnecessary. It just seems like the hate that, to me, that just seems like misogynoir. Why would you do that in the movie? Like, that really pissed me off. It makes everything good that I've said about the movie just be like, meh. Like, it really irritated me. There was no need. Why would you do it? Just because? Like, just because you wanted to be racist, you wanted to sprinkle a bit of racism in there? It's seriously annoying. Like, and the only other black character in there was the male teacher, who I did really enjoy his character, to be honest. He was a funny guy. I really liked him as a teacher. But it doesn't take away, like, that doesn't undo the misogynoir that they just shove in at the end of the movie for literally no reason. Pissed me off. Like, it actually did. They didn't have to do that. It would have been so much funnier if all the girls just turned on Joey. All of them, including her. Like, she should have looked at him and been like, ew, no thanks. You whitey. That would have been hilarious. Like, ew. I'm not into white men. Pretty boy. She should, like, that would have been so funny. Why they turned her into a pygmy, like, so everybody could hate her at the end of the movie. It just really, really annoyed me. Like, it seriously did. Like, if they could have just done her differently, and it would have made, like, it would have made the movie better, if anything. Like, anyway, I'm gonna leave it on that now, because with that being said, we have come to the end of today's episode of Pretty and Dangerous. I hope you loved gossiping about fictional characters with me and ranting about society. Remember, this is all in good fun and just my opinion. If you want to share your opinion in the comments below, please do so. I would love to hear them. Um, and tell me what you think about 10 Things I Hate About You. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's kind of funny. Um, Next episode, I'm going to be talking about, well, next episode, we're going to be traveling all the way back to the Meiji era in Japan, but we'll be witnessing the downfall of the samurai. their fate hangs in the balance as they fight their way through Japan in one of them game shows, like death games funded by some of the most elite and rich men in Japan. Sounds interesting. It's a good TV show. Um, so yeah, called The Last Samurai Standing. Very good TV show. Had so much fun watching it, but yeah, next week we're gonna talk about that. I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel and comment. That would mean a lot to me. Much loves for that. And also, if you could go check out my Instagram and TikTok at Mazzy_mayhem. That would also mean a lot to me. But yeah, don't forget to stay pretty and stay dangerous. And I'll see you soon.